The moment that touched millions. Sometimes, the most unforgettable moments aren't created by fireworks, breathtaking performances, or record-breaking concerts. Sometimes, all it takes is one simple act of kindness. On one unforgettable night in Madrid, as more than 70,000 ARMY filled the stadium with purple lights, something happened that no one had expected. It wasn't part of the choreography. It wasn't written into the concert program. And it certainly wasn't planned. Yet within hours, millions of people around the world were watching the same video, over and over again. Not because of a spectacular performance, but because of one quiet, deeply human moment. This is the story of how Jungkook, with a single spontaneous gesture, reminded millions of people why BTS is loved far beyond their music. The Madrid concert had already been unforgettable. The stadium was alive with excitement. Purple ARMY bombs illuminated the night sky like countless stars. Every song echoed through the venue. Every lyric was sung back by thousands of voices. Fans laughed together, cried together, and celebrated another precious night with the 7 artists who had become a part of their lives. For many people in the audience, this wasn't simply another concert. It was a dream they had waited years to experience. Some had traveled across countries. Some had saved money for months. Others had waited patiently through years of uncertainty, just for the chance to see BTS perform live once again. Every seat held a different story. Every face carried a different journey. Among those thousands of fans, there was one woman whose story was especially touching. She was expecting a baby. In fact, her due date was only 1 day away. Instead of staying home, she chose to attend the concert with someone who hadn't even entered the world yet. Her unborn child. She carefully wrote a message across her baby bump. Just one day, baby ARMY. It was a simple message. But behind those 4 words was an incredible amount of love. She wanted her child to become part of this unforgettable memory, even before taking their very first breath. Like countless other fans, she probably never imagined that Jungkook would notice her. After all, there were tens of thousands of people in front of him. Bright lights, moving cameras, loud music, a sea of waving purple light sticks. The chances of being noticed were almost impossible. Or so everyone thought. Then, something unexpected happened. Jungkook suddenly looked toward one section of the audience. His attention stopped. He wasn't looking at the giant screens. He wasn't focused on the stage. Instead, his eyes found one fan among thousands. The pregnant ARMY. For a brief moment, time seemed to slow down. People nearby began wondering what he had seen. Then, without hesitation, Jungkook walked closer. He smiled warmly. And then, he did something that instantly captured everyone's hearts. He knelt down. It lasted only a few seconds. But those few seconds became one of the most talked about moments of the entire concert. He lowered himself to greet the expecting mother. Many fans felt that he wasn't only greeting her. He was greeting baby ARMY as well. A child who hadn't even been born yet. There were no dramatic speeches. No spotlight announcing what had happened. No special camera angle designed to create a viral moment. Everything unfolded naturally. And perhaps, that is exactly why it felt so genuine. The audience erupted with emotion. Many people nearby realized what they had just witnessed. Phones immediately began recording. Some fans were smiling through tears. Others simply stood there, trying to process what they had just seen. Because moments like these cannot be rehearsed. They come directly from the heart. After the concert ended, the expecting mother shared a message that quickly spread across social media. She wrote, My baby met Jungkook before being born. Just one sentence. Yet those words touched millions of hearts around the world. Imagine telling your child someday that before they opened their eyes for the very first time, one of the world's biggest stars had already smiled at them and greeted them with kindness. The video spread rapidly across social media platforms. Within hours, millions of people had watched it. Fans replayed the clip again and again. Some noticed the way Jungkook immediately recognized the message. Others focused on how instinctively he knelt. Many couldn't stop talking about the sincerity in his expression. There was no hesitation. No performance. No expectation of applause. Only genuine warmth. Soon, the moment reached South Korea. News outlets began covering the story. Online communities filled with emotional reactions. And Korean netizens, many of whom had seen countless celebrity interactions over the years, found themselves deeply moved by this simple act. Why? Because they believed it revealed something much deeper than good manners. It revealed character. And that was only the beginning. We'll take a closer look at why Jungkook's split-second decision resonated so deeply. How Korean media reacted. What K-netizens had to say. And why many people believe this single moment perfectly reflects the kind of person Jungkook has always been. The gesture that spoke louder than words. Some moments become unforgettable. Not because they are grand, but because they reveal who someone truly is. The video lasted only a few seconds. No dramatic music. No special effects. No carefully planned interaction. Just Jungkook, a pregnant army, and one heartfelt gesture. Yet those few seconds would soon travel far beyond the concert venue. Within hours, clips of the interaction began spreading across social media. Fans from every corner of the world shared the video with captions like, "This is why we love Jungkook. He's kindness in human form. He noticed her" among 70,000 people. The comment sections quickly filled with purple hearts, crying emojis, and stories from fans who said they couldn't watch the video without getting emotional. But what made this moment so special? After all, artists greet fans during concerts all the time. So why did this interaction resonate with millions? The answer lies in what happened next. The pregnant fan later shared her own perspective. She explained that she had written, "Just one day baby ARMY," across her baby bump because her due date was only one day away. She wanted to create a precious memory. Not only for herself, but for the little life she was carrying. Then she shared a sentence that touched hearts around the world. "My baby met Jungkook before being born." Think about that for a moment. One day, that child will grow up. They may watch this video. They may hear the story from their mother. And they'll know that before taking their very first breath, they were already welcomed with kindness. Many parents dream of creating meaningful memories for their children. Few could have imagined a moment quite like this. For that family, it wasn't simply another concert. It became a lifelong story. A memory that will likely be told for years to come. As the video continued spreading, Korean media quickly picked up the story. News articles highlighted the touching interaction. Many described Jungkook's action as spontaneous, respectful, and deeply sincere. Unlike staged celebrity moments designed for publicity, this happened in real time. There were no cameras asking him to do it. No one instructed him to stop. He simply noticed a fan and followed his heart. Soon, Korean netizens began leaving thousands of comments online. One person wrote, "It must have been a split-second decision. He could have simply walked past her, but instead he chose to stop and greet her. That alone touched my heart." Another commented, "Kneeling is a gesture of respect. Everything about Jungkook feels incredibly warm and sincere." Someone else wrote, I can only imagine how emotional that fan must have felt. Jungkook is truly amazing. Another comment read, "She'll remember this moment forever." Others simply wrote, "This is so heartwarming." Or, "His heart is truly beautiful." Sometimes, the simplest words carry the deepest emotions. One comment, in particular, stood out to many fans. It said, "This shows Jungkook's respect not only for his fans, but also for motherhood and for life itself." Whether everyone interprets the moment in exactly the same way is impossible to know. But it's easy to understand why so many people saw kindness in his actions. Because nothing about his body language appeared forced. He didn't rush. He didn't perform for the cameras. For those few seconds, his entire attention was focused on one fan. Another Korean fan wrote something that quickly gained attention. They said, "This is what true communication looks like. This is what makes concerts special. He didn't just perform for the crowd. He connected with a person." That observation resonated with many ARMY. Concerts aren't only about singing. They aren't only about choreography or dazzling visual effects. The most unforgettable concerts are often remembered because of human connection. A smile, a wave, eye contact, or a simple act of kindness that lasts only seconds, but stays in people's hearts forever. As more fans shared the video, many noticed something else. Jungkook never appeared to be looking for attention. In fact, he stood up and continued the concert almost immediately. There was no attempt to make the moment bigger than it was. No dramatic pause. No speech. He simply continued performing, as if what he had done was completely natural. And perhaps, for him, it was breath. Because sometimes, kindness isn't something you think about. It's simply who you are. The story was no longer just about one pregnant ARMY. It had become a reminder that even in front of tens of thousands of people, one small gesture can make someone feel truly seen. And for millions watching around the world, that may have been the most beautiful performance of the night. In the next part, we'll look back at other unforgettable moments that fans say reveal Jungkook's caring personality, and why so many people believe this wasn't an isolated act, but part of a pattern that has defined him throughout his career. Media reaction and the world responds. When a moment is truly genuine, it doesn't stay in one place for long. Within hours of the Madrid concert, the clip of Jungkook kneeling in front of a pregnant ARMY had already crossed borders. It wasn't just being shared by fans anymore. It was being discussed by media outlets, entertainment pages, and online communities across the world. And the reactions were remarkably consistent. Not shock. Not controversy. But admiration. Deep. Emotional. Admiration. The story that spread across media. Korean media were among the first to highlight the moment. Headlines focused on one key idea. A global superstar taking a moment to acknowledge a single fan in a crowd of thousands. Articles described Jungkook's action as spontaneous, respectful, and deeply human. Some reports emphasized how rare it is for an artist at that level of fame to still notice individual fans during a stadium concert. Because at that scale, everything is usually about the crowd. The lights. The choreography. The production. The cameras. But this moment was not about the crowd. It was about one person. Korean netizens react. As the video circulated on Korean forums, thousands of comments began appearing. Many people expressed surprise. But more than anything, they expressed emotion. One comment said, "It must have been a split-second decision. He could have easily walked past, but he didn't." Another wrote, He didn't just acknowledge her, he showed respect. And one of the most repeated sentiments was simple. This is why people love him. No exaggeration. No long analysis. Just a recognition of something they felt immediately. Another user commented, "Kneeling is not just a gesture, it is respect. It felt very sincere." And another added, "I can't stop thinking about how emotional that fan must have been." There was also a deeper interpretation shared by some fans. That the gesture wasn't only about greeting a fan, but about acknowledging motherhood, life, and the emotional weight of that moment. Whether intentional or not. That's how many people interpreted it. Why the moment felt different. Many celebrity interactions go viral every day. Fans are used to hand waves, hearts, brief eye contact, and smiles from the stage. But this moment stood apart. Why? Because it felt unfiltered. There was no delay. No performance timing. No visible awareness of cameras. Just a human reaction. In real time. Jungkook saw something. He responded. And that was it. One Korean fan wrote. It didn't feel like a celebrity and a fan. It felt like one human acknowledging another human. That sentence was shared widely. Because it captured the essence of the moment. The power of small gestures. In large concerts, fans often expect grand gestures. Confetti. Fireworks. Special stages. Surprise performances. But sometimes, what stays in memory the longest is something much smaller. A glance. A pause. A decision made in less than a second. And in Madrid, that decision was a kneel. The worldwide reaction. Outside Korea, international fans reacted in a similar way. Social media posts flooded timelines. I'm crying over a 5-second clip. He didn't have to do that, but he did. This is why BTS feels different. Many fans pointed out that the moment didn't feel like content. It felt like a memory. Something real. Something unedited. Something human. A moment that transcended language. What made the clip even more powerful was that it didn't need translation. No subtitles were required. No explanation was necessary. Everyone understood it instantly. A pregnant fan. A global artist. A kneeling gesture of respect. And a shared emotional reaction. That's all it took. But as the video continued to spread, something even more interesting began to emerge. Fans started connecting this moment with Jungkook's past actions. Moments many had forgotten, but now started to resurface. Acts of kindness. Small gestures. Quiet interactions that had once gone unnoticed. And when viewed together, they began to form a bigger picture. Among the purple lights and thousands of voices united, we learn one important thing. That kindness is never small. And love always finds its way. This is not just a concert. This is a memory that will live forever. See you in our next video. Borahae. Purple Heart.